I want to move on now to day 2 in the high-stakes antitrust trial happening between Apple and Epic Games. The cross-examination of Epic CEO Tim Sweeney was aimed at weakening his argument that Apple's App Store is, quote, a walled garden that, quote, traps developers and puts onerous conditions on users. Our very own Mark Gurman has been listening in to every step of this trial. So give us the highlights from the cross-examination, Mark. Did Apple's attorney succeed in undermining Sweeney's case?
Hi, Emily. Thank you for having me. Indeed, have been tuning in. And yes, I think to some respect, Apple's lawyers did have a successful time sort of undermining the argument of Epic and, of course, their CEO, Tim Sweeney. One of the key arguments that Apple made today was actually getting Sweeney to admit that the 30% cut that Apple gets from the App Store is similar to other consoles, right? And so that raises the question as to why Epic is going after only Apple and suing only Apple over this 30% cut when, you know, every other platform that he provides his software on does take the same cut. Now, the difference I do want to tell you, though, is that while many of these consoles do take the same cut. If you look at a comparison between, Apple and Google, right? Google takes the same 30% cut, but there is a key difference there, and that's that they have two separate app stores, right? You can have the app store that Google provides built in, Google Play, but you can also add a second or third or even fourth app store from another provider too, which may take a slimmer cut.
So, in your view, Mark, has Tim Sweeney and Epic been persuasive in making that case, that Apple really is different when, as you mentioned, all of these players take a 30% cut?
Yeah, I think thus far I haven't seen anything from the Epic side to indicate that they are making a persuasive argument to the judge and the court, including in their, in their evidence and their testimonies in the cross-examination that Apple is doing anything not par for the course here. One interesting tidbit I heard this morning was Apple's lawyers basically questioning Sweeney about the typical home and how many devices they have and which devices they have, really going to the crux of the issue. As you remember, Emily, the problem came down to what are called our V-Bucks. V-Bucks is virtual currency that you can buy through the Fortnite game on any device, right? And basically, Epic didn't want to pay that 30% cut for purchasing V-Bucks through Apple, so they created their own payment system. But Apple does allow you to port over V-Bucks that you've already bought on other platforms without giving Apple a commission, since you already bought them, let's say, on Android or PlayStation or whatnot. And so they basically got Sweeney to admit that there's other devices there that you could have bought them on.
All right, Mark, what's on tap for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, you're going to see continued testimony from other expert witnesses. You should see people from Microsoft or NVIDIA testifying on the behalf of Epic, pointing to some of similar concerns with Apple's business model.